This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where every week the brother-sister duo gets together to discuss the box office, latest film and TV scoops, along with our latest movie or show review, and what we're getting into next. We're your host, Cheryl.
And Jay.
Okay, yesterday we watched Twisters. So Jay got trivia this week.
Okay, you ready?
I think so.
What former cast member from the first Twisters film campaigned to direct the sequel?
Campaign to direct the sequel.
Yes.
Helen Hunt.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I said that because I was like, well, who else would have been alive currently to campaign for that? Because the only other people I would think would be Bill Paxton or Seymour Hoffman.
Yes, it would be Helen Hunt.
So was she trying to direct something more recently, or was this like an old thing that she wanted to direct?
So this was an old pitch, and it's quite interesting. So Helen Hunt originally pitched sequel plans to the studios to make a sequel to Twisters. She wrote it. It was also written by Rafael Casala, who is an American producer, actor, and apparently a rapper. And also co-written.
Multi-talented.
Also was co-written by Daveed Diggs. Apparently they collaborated on a television series before in the past, and the premise around the Twister movie sequel was going to be an all black and brown cast of storm chasers who are members of a rocket science club at a historically black college university.
And they told her no.
Said absolutely not.
Oh, man. I was going to say, now, why didn't they do... Because they were like, for reasons, of course.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they announced that they were having meetings with directors and writers for a planned sequel in 2020.
And Helen Hunt was like, I got it.
Daveed Diggs said they had a story idea for it, and the studio said, absolutely not. So
now, I ain't gonna lie, I would have preferred that over...
I would have, but that's not Twister's target demographic.
It's not, but it's something different.
Yeah, it is something different.
Very different. And what do we need more of? Very different movies featuring black cast.
I mean, I think nowadays the lesson that has been learned is that people ask for different, and then when you give them different, they... In
certain cases, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
They trash it because it's not the original film.
But I feel like with this, it could have, like, I would have been outside with my signs like, y'all better go see this film.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I definitely would have been interested in seeing that story.
Yeah.
And that cast, especially since I think casting should have been a stronger focus in this one.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in our review. I have a lot of thoughts.
But I don't think I'm sad that we didn't get to see it because it sounds like it has really good potential.
Right.
But I'm glad that we didn't get to see it because I feel like we'd just be dealing with a whole bunch of negativity.
The negative Twister fandom would have came out the woodworks for that.
We would have had to fight people who are defending the purity of Twister.
Good on Helen Hunt, though. I appreciate her going to the studio with that.
Yeah, good on her. So, sad trivia.
Yeah.
Good trivia.
But not surprising trivia.
No, not surprising trivia at all. No.
Lord. Anywho, well, that's our trivia for this episode. Let's get to the rest of the episode.
Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, so this week we have a smaller-ish agenda, but we like to talk, so we'll see how long it goes. We have some big news coming out of the Marvel universe. We have a pretty full trailer park, so toot beep beep there, and just a little bit in a bunch of crunch, which has another sad crunch again for like the third week in a row.
Yeah, we're on a sad crunch streak.
People need to stay alive. Anywho, so let's start up at the top here. The Russo Brothers is going back to what they know best.
Yes.
That would be Marvel.
Yes. So rumor has it that the
sources say
MCU,
wink.
Kevin Feige, and the rest of the executives have apparently been meeting with the Russos and talking about them returning to the franchise to conclude it once again.
Yeah.
And make two more of the best Avengers films that I've probably ever seen.
Again.
So that's exciting. Joe and Anthony Russo are set to direct Avengers 5 and 6. Rumor, nothing's been confirmed by the studio yet.
Yeah.
They previously directed, as we know, Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, so the best Captain America movies, and Avengers Infinity War and Endgame.
So some of the best highly regarded Marvel movies, period.
Yeah.
Not just Avengers movies and not just Captain America movies, like
some of the best MCU movies.
Period. We still refer
critically acclaimed and commercially successful.
Winter Soldier vibes is literally a phrase in the fandom at this point.
Well, I mean, especially with the new Captain America that's coming out, it's reminding everybody about how great the espionage elements in Winter Soldier was. So this is like the perfect resurgence for the two of them.
The most talked about thing about Captain America 4 was it looks like Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Now people
That's the bar.
Yeah, right.
So
like I said, returning to what they know best.
Yeah. I think Winter Soldier is the bar for like solo superhero films.
Yeah.
And then
like street level superhero films.
Right. And then Civil War through Endgame is the bar for ensemble superhero films.
Like Infinity War is just now Endgame is only slightly below Infinity War for me because how it ends and it's, it's kind of sad.
It's somber.
But Infinity War, top tier.
Yeah. Infinity War is great. And Civil War.
Right.
Yeah.
So according to sources, the brothers are being brought into the fold at Marvel Studios on various fronts. So that seems like they're not just going to be directing, but the Avengers movies are going to be their first priority. Now, Avengers 5 was formerly known as Kang Dynasty. We already know what happened with Kang. Well, at least the real life Kang.
Right.
But Avengers 5 is expected to get a new name and a new focus, which is interesting. I'm very curious to how they flip the script on that. Destin Daniel Cretton was going to direct Kang Dynasty, but he departed the project due to scheduling conflicts. He is still doing Wonder Man and Shang-Chi. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Sean Levy was going to direct Avengers 5, but he decided to go direct his Star Wars movie. So he said, well, the mouse said I got to do this over here. So thank you, but no thank you, which I think is interesting. And I'm actually okay with that decision, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
We ain't seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet, so let me not prejudge.
Kevin has been the main one championing Sean Levy to do the next Avengers.
He must really
Kevin
love.
Feige's the only one who's seen Deadpool and Wolverine, so he's the one who
he
really
must
wants
really
Sean Levy
love
to do
that
it.
darn movie. But
I haven't seen enough, so I wasn't married to Sean Levy.
I wasn't
much
either.
As Kevin was.
I wasn't either. They know each other way better than we do. Avengers 5 is set to come out May 1st, 2026. So we got a little while.
Good luck with the Star Wars universe, though.
It's
rough over there.
One, yes. Two, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see him direct a Star Wars movie in general. Star Wars is getting some interesting directors to do things, but I ain't mad at it. And Secret Wars is set to come out May 7th, 2027. So we got a little while for either one of these get any type of script, leaks, any of that sort. But them going back to the Russo brothers is a safe bet, but a sure bet.
Yeah.
So I ain't mad at it.
A lot of people are now trying to fake that they are disappointed that the Russos are back.
It's so funny. The fandom is so funny.
Because for the past, ever since the Infinity Saga wrapped up, everybody's been shouting from the rooftop, bring in new directors, do new interesting things. So they've been doing new interesting things with the new interesting directors, and everything they've done has been getting dragged.
We don't like it. It's not like Marvel. They need to go back to the OGs.
Now that the Russos are back, everybody's like, oh, this is boring. It's like, but they've created the milestone for all of your frame of references for the best portions of the MCU. And now you're upset because they're back.
Now, I will say this. The Russos brothers' filmography outside of Marvel, a little suspect.
That's okay. Maybe they do one thing good.
I was about to say that's why they was like, you know what? Let's go back to our bread and butter where we really shine and we can really do our thing. And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's absolutely nothing wrong.
In Marvel, maybe they need to play it safe for a little bit because everybody's screaming to the rooftop that Marvel's dead. Like, well, now they're going back to what made them alive.
It can be safe, but it's gonna be good. That's the thing.
I don't
Everybody
care how
knows
safe
it's gonna
it
be
is.
good. So
thank you.
Fine. Safe and good.
Hello.
Then we all go home at the end of the night and get a good night's rest.
And we satisfied.
Right.
And we back to talking about, well, this was this and this was that and all the breakdowns and Easter eggs and
I'm excited for the Russos to come back
Same.
because we know the type of movie we're gonna get.
Hello, and I'm okay.
And they've proven that they can work on the biggest Avengers films without having worked on any of the smaller ones.
Correct.
And still be able to pull together like what everybody was intending to do with their own individual movies. Like everybody had a wrapped up story arc in Endgame and Infinity War, even though the Russos only did like 3 of the MCU movies at that time.
Exactly. So. And it's not like they're directing everything.
Right.
Marvel can still get y'all favorite directors that y'all want to do a Marvel movie for the solo movies.
Right.
In the sequel. So let's calm down.
Right. You'll still have the movies in between to be fake upset about. And then you'll be able to come back to the Russo Brothers.
Exactly. So I thought this announcement was good. It is safe, but like you said, I'll take safe and good. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. That was actually it for all our news this week in terms of new movie announcements.
Yeah, it was slow. Everybody's holding their breath for Comic-Con next week, so that's probably why a lot of the movie news was on pause this week.
Oh no, they stiff.
We have an interesting trip to the trailer park planned, so let's roll into that.
Beep.
Okay, so first trailer on the list is Terminator 0. This is going to be a straight-to-Netflix anime series, and it is going to premiere on August 29th, 2024. What did you think about the trailer?
I like the style. Now, we've been saying this is anime, but now that we've seen the trailer, I was like, oh, they for real. And it looks, I don't know if I understand the plot all the way still, even though we've said what it was.
It's the same.
I can't remember, it's the different characters, though. So I was trying to piece together, okay, this is person and this. But overall, it actually looks good. I think I'm going to tune in. I'm tuning in.
The trailer looks good. So animation style, it looks like old school 90s anime.
Yep.
It's even got the film grain on it.
It does.
And it essentially shows us animated versions of the same James Cameron Terminator future where it's overrun by Terminators.
Now, who was narrating? Which character was narrating the trailer? That's what was most confusing to me.
The character narrating the trailer appears to be Aiko, I think it's pronounced.
Okay.
That's Sonoya Mizuno, who is on House of Dragon.
Okay.
She is supposed to be playing the protagonist.
Right.
Who is protecting Andre Holland's character, who's Malcolm Lee.
Right. Who's a scientist.
Who's a scientist who created some type of AI.
Which is voiced by Rosario.
Right. And Timothy Olyphant is going to be playing the Terminator.
All right, now I'm here. I'm here.
So it's basically just Aiko, the character sent back, the resistance fighter sent back from the future to protect the scientist, narrating. And it's kind of like she's giving him the speech, like, it'll never stop, it'll never eat. All it knows how to do is hunt and kill. So,
yeah. I was pleasantly surprised at the animation style. It's giving anime for sure.
The voice work seemed a little weak in the narration. It seemed kind of dry, but
I just wasn't following what she was saying.
It was a trailer, and 9 times out of 10, that line read won't even be in the show. So
yeah, I'm
still interested in see how the show is going to go. Netflix has been doing pretty good on its animation lately.
Agree.
Okay, next stop on the list is The Killer. This is another series that's going straight to streaming. This time
it's a series, not a movie.
It looks like a series.
Okay,
but maybe it's a movie. It is going straight to Peacock, though.
It's media content.
And it is going to be released on August 23rd, 2024. It's a remake of John Woo's The Killer by John Woo. So it is a movie. But this one is going to star Masunde from Fast and Furious and Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Natalie Emmanuel. It's also going to star Omar Sy from Lupin and from Jurassic Park.
And
World.
From the Book of Clarence.
And the Book of Clarence.
Y'all didn't go see.
So I'm not sure if anybody will get that reference.
Hey,
he was in it. You got paid for it.
Y'all should go watch our review.
Sam Worthington from Avatar. So
yep.
doing things outside of Avatar.
Hey, go
people
Sam.
say that they don't see him outside of Avatar. Well, you don't see him in Avatar, but
I'm people because I'll be like, where's Sam at?
Right. So it's going to star these 3 individuals. It looks like it's going to be a femme fatale spy thriller.
Now, have you seen the original Killer by John Woo?
No.
Me neither. So this is new to me. I was like, it looks entertaining. I would tune in.
Let's see.
It's given very, almost like a Black Widow situation.
It looks like Nikita.
There it is. You're right.
It's supposed to be in the vein of that. So The Killer is a 1989 Hong Kong action film that is directed by John Woo.
Right.
Also stars a fave, Chow Yun-fat.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
And Chow Yun-fat basically plays a professional assassin for a gang who wants to retire.
Interesting. We ain't been in a very long time.
Yeah, just some random things.
Okay.
But his character accidentally damages the eyes of a singer during a shootout and sets out to perform one last hit for her retirement.
Okay, this movie this remake, Natalie Emmanuel.
Yes.
She is obviously the assassin, and it looks like she doesn't kill somebody she's supposed to. So whatever gang hired her is coming to get her.
Yeah.
That's the premise of this one. And then Omar Sy is a cop who's probably like on a case, also trying to stop the gang or whatever. And they don't seem like they working together, but they both have the same end goal.
Yeah.
It's what it looks like.
It looks like Heart of Stone a little. On Netflix, it looks like I
think it looks better.
Cheaper version of Heart of Stone because it doesn't have any special effects in it.
Nah, I'm gonna disagree with you on that.
But good
you
luck
think
to
the
everybody.
action looks good?
No. Good luck to everybody though.
Listen, you know what? I'll watch this and I will tell y'all how it is.
This will be Cheryl's task.
I thought it looked real, like the action looked. John Woo's known for action, so I thought it was like John Woo action.
It looked like
he wasn't sold.
It looked like a CBS nighttime action drama.
Listen, you know what? Let us go to the next trailer because you was dogging it, and I don't agree with that. I'm gonna let y'all know how it is.
Shout out to everybody involved. I like Masunde. I like Omar Sy. I like Sam Worthington. So
I will report back, guys. Don't you worry.
Yeah, and people clearly watch Peacock stuff.
Oh, wait, I don't have Peacock. Ooh, okay. We'll figure it out.
Next on the list, Beetlejuice. This is a movie everybody knows about. It is coming to theaters on September 6th.
Labor Day weekend.
It stars everybody.
That was right.
Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and they've added Jenna Ortega to the cast as well.
Monica Bellucci and Willem Dafoe also joined this.
Yes. As villains,
I think they are the villains. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, they're the only two people I'm kind of here for.
Catherine O'Hara has also returned, and they've added Justin Theroux to the cast as well.
Correct.
I'm not sure what his character is. Essentially, Beetlejuice has... Jenna Ortega has somehow summoned Beetlejuice back.
Well, in the trailer, it looks like Winona Ryder summons him back.
Well, yeah, both trailers are... definitely misleading because in the first trailer it looks like Winona Ryder is trying to stop Jenna Ortega from bringing him back, and the second trailer makes it look like
she's asking him to come back.
So maybe they did it together.
Okay.
But Jenna Ortega's character is clearly going through some type of adolescent trials and tribulations at her all-girls boarding school.
Yes, she looked like she's getting bullied or teased.
And Beetlejuice is also being chased for some reason by Willem Dafoe and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Monica Bellucci.
Monica Bellucci as some type of like ghouls from the other side.
Yeah,
but we're not exactly sure what they're after Beetlejuice for.
They don't say in the trailer.
This trailer did not convince me to go see it anymore. But the CGI in the second trailer, the second trailer looks much better than the first one. I'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say it looks like we got a little more plot of where they're actually asking Beetlejuice for help this time. Versus Beetlejuice just causing havoc. Yeah. So it looks like it's gonna be a Beetlejuice Can You Help Us type movie.
It definitely looks better than the first trailer.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The first trailer kind of looked too campy and too hokey, and this one definitely looked more. The comedy in the themes looked more modern.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah. I give you that. I'm on the fence,
but still not interested.
It's either this or the Brandy movie. Pick one.
Ugh.
Beetlejuice.
I don't know if I can sit through My Name is Belinda.
I can't even remember the name of the movie now. That's bad. No Hard Feelings? No, that's not it. Anywho.
It's not on the list.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as excited as I was when this was first announced based on the trailers, but we'll see. I mean, we're going to watch it. I'm not going to act like we're not going to watch it.
For things that we are excited about, we got a final trailer for Alien Romulus. Ooh. This is coming to theaters and to our podcast August 18th, 2024.
That's good.
I like this trailer a lot more.
We got a little more story.
A lot more story. So so originally I thought this was going to be about them, this random group of scavengers.
Right.
Stumbling upon the colony.
Yes, you did.
After it was attacked by aliens. But it looks like at some point between Sigourney Weaver and the team getting to the colony,
some random scavengers.
Some other random scavengers were taking the aliens off the planet anyway, because they're not even on the planet. They're on a ship.
Yes, they stumble across a ship, and it looks like that the crew of our movie is trying to get like supplies or something off the ship.
They're trying to like scavenge it.
Yes, basically.
They're trying to loot it.
There we go.
So 2 things have happened here. Mm-hmm. There are 2 side plots here.
Lots of people have died. No,
there's an unnamed. So apparently, their first Alien movie was the first Alien movie.
Yes.
And then the second Alien movie was about them trying to convince Sigourney Weaver.
So that was the third Alien movie?
No, that's the second one.
Okay. Well, I'm saying if you slide this one in between the 2, that's kind of like after this one, right?
No. So it seems like what happened was before Sigourney Weaver went back to the colony to save the people, but they were too late. It seems like before she even went back there, the company was already transporting.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because there's a ship full of facehuggers that look like they're in some type of cryopods or whatever. Mm-hmm. So they were transporting them. They were trying to get them off the planet.
They was doing something.
Yeah.
Nefarious humans, as always.
And the cast of this movie, Alien Romulus,
picked the wrong ship.
They picked the wrong ship to loot and stumble upon the alien ship.
Yeah, and it don't look like it's working out very well for them.
No,
as we've seen in previous trailers.
What we know about the aliens is that they grow really fast after they chest burst, and they immediately start building a nest. So by the time they get to the ship, there's already like a nest set up. There's a whole bunch of face huggers that are like ready to be freed, and we don't know if there's already a xenomorph on there.
We see a shot of one. It's the same shot we've been. They're not sharing too much about the xenomorph.
If the xenomorph comes from one of them.
Oh, yeah, I guess we don't know.
We know that clearly enough of them get face hugged because there's like 20 face huggers on this ship. We see like a scene of them running down the hall.
There's a scene of one girl using a light to show her chest.
So she's dead meat.
She gone. I think they actually show her gone in the trailer. It ain't
given.
Looking great.
Somebody's got to get a chest.
And the girl that's with her is like trying to help. I'm like, girl, if you don't run, it is over for her. Leave.
So this is going to star mostly Kaylee Spaney and Isa Gonzalez, who they've been promoting a lot. Kaylee Spaney, we just saw in Civil War.
Yeah.
Isa Gonzalez, we just saw in Madam Web, but she's also going to be in She's going to be Hawk Girl
in the upcoming Superman movie.
And a whole bunch of other cast members who are pretty much everybody in this movie is like.
I don't think nobody's
we're just here for the kills.
Yeah, and the aliens.
And to see, because they always show the aliens doing something different or looking different. The xenomorphs always look different because depending on what or who they chest burst from, they come out looking a little different.
I didn't know that. Lore.
In every movie, the xenomorph is different in a way because of depending on who they face hug with affects the outcome.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
They all scared looking to me.
Yeah. So yeah. They also released a image. They have a life-size model of the xenomorph that they released as well.
Creepy.
It is massive. And looking. You saw it and you said nobody's going to live.
No. I don't think anybody's making it out of this movie.
It's huge.
And
it's
I'm okay.
Massive.
I'm okay with that. And also to note, we are going to try and attempt our best to get on the Alien Romulus panel at Comic-Con. Yes. Cross your fingers, y'all, that we make
I'm excited about that.
Cross our fingers.
To add to that, they also announced earlier this week that they wrapped filming on the prequel series.
Which I feel like, did we know about that?
So a couple things happened. First, because this is a movie so the director of this movie is Fede Alvarez. Originally, when this was all announced and they were bringing Alien back, it was announced as Fede Alvarez was doing a show for Hulu.
Oh, they was going to put this on Hulu?
So they were going to Fede Alvarez was originally going to do the Alien series.
I got you.
And then I think it turned out so good that they moved it up into movie. And then put something else behind it as a series. So they hired a completely different director to do the prequel series.
Interesting.
Because what they were going to do was, it was going to be just like Prey. Because Prey and Alien share the same universe.
Right,
and just
like
we
Prey
went straight to Hulu
as
a small film, they were going to do the same thing with Alien.
No, that's...
But I think they underestimated the Alien fan base.
Yeah. Well, and it looks good, though.
It looks amazing.
It looks like something you need to see in XD in a very loud, dark theater with all your homies.
So the FX series is called Alien Earth.
Right.
It's going to be on FX, but it'll probably be on Disney Plus and Hulu as well. Right. They own it all.
They all the same.
That wrapped filming earlier this week. It is going to take place on Earth. It is going to have xenomorphs in it, and it is going to be a prequel, but we're unsure
how the connection,
where.
right?
Like, is this going to be prequel to the first Alien, or is this going to be a prequel to Prometheus?
It can't be to the first Alien, because we would have known.
You know, it's weird because if you watch the first Alien, it seems like the company at least knew what the xenomorphs were, or at least knew they existed. Because the first Alien film, the company reroutes their ship while they're in cryosleep. And before they even have the specimen, the company has already deemed this crew expendable. So how long did the company know that the xenomorphs are out there?
Yeah, interesting. But they would have known they was on Earth, right?
They didn't tell Ripley that before they sent her to the planet, they lost contact with whatever ship they were trying to fly them off the planet with. So secrets.
Nefarious. Right, always nefarious.
But I'm excited. Alien movies always do really good. It's a mix between sci-fi and horror. Sci-fi is my favorite genre.
This is my type of horror right
horror
here.
limit.
Okay, no, this you want to give me in a horror movie? Just make it sci-fi, and I'm like, yes, I'm
even
there.
Even though the xenomorph is technically unkillable.
But. Yeah. Oh, but it's not a demon. It's an alien. It's different.
Right. It exists in the real world.
Hello.
All right, last stop on the trailer park list is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Another one.
This final trailer is mostly just more cuts of the
other
trailers. More Hugh Jackman lines, though.
This
get
one,
some name drops.
This one has a slightly different tone, though. It was funny because you were like, I feel like they put a little too much stick in these trailers. And they were like, oh, let's turn it back. Yeah. It's like they heard you, because this one has a more serious tone, and we get more of Wolverine going through his like depression.
So we get more name drops, and Wolverine name drops Cyclops, Storm, and Beast.
He does.
Talking about how they were always trying to convince him to wear the yellow suit, but he didn't want them to feel like he was part of the team.
Yeah.
So we could get like flashbacks of Wolverine with the rest of the X-Men in their actual suits.
If Halle Berry's in this movie, I'm gonna be
that would be
fun.
I'm
gonna be screaming.
We know he's not from any universe we've seen before.
Correct.
Because none of those universes had the
suit. That's out, right? The yellow.
Right. So this is a brand new Wolverine.
Which they already told us, I think. They finally said that he's not the same.
Yeah, they finally confirmed it.
Right, because people was having a fit about it.
The only new things we got were the Wolverine stuff. We got a scene of the main villain, Cassandra Nova.
Yeah. Doing some mind things,
but she's also doing she's also stringing out, just like in Loki when they break the loom.
Oh, I missed that little part.
You missed the scene where she's in the room and it's stringing apart, just like Loki. When
it was like white.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You didn't notice it was the whole reality around it was stringing away.
No, I didn't notice that.
Just like the timelines did.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. So she's doing something with that. And we also get a scene with Daphne Keene.
We did, and people were very upset about it being spoiled. And I'm like, yeah.
I can see why people are upset about it being spoiled.
You know
because that would have been a prime time theater moment.
I've been doing my Googling, and somebody came up with a good counterpoint of, for us that are very hardcore Marvel people, you're right. We want to be in a movie when all these big reveals. But for the marketing team and the general audience, they like, hey, guess what? There's another person in this. Don't you want to see this movie now?
But would general audiences know who she is?
If you've seen Logan and have not seen Deadpool, you might be like, I'm not interested in Deadpool. I don't want nothing to do with this. This looks... But Good luck. You see that she's in this, you may be like, wait a second. I liked her in Logan, and let me go buy my ticket now. It's a tactic.
If you are not interested in Deadpool, good luck.
Well,
sitting through this.
But it might move people's needle though, because this last trailer heavily focuses on Wolverine, and then you add in her Daphne King, and then you might get the Logan people kind of like, let me go to the matinee for this. I'm saying I can see how it works.
So Daphne Keene is an exciting addition.
Yeah.
She played X-23 in the Logan film. She lived, Logan died. Historically in the comics, she is Wolverine in the same way that Sam is Captain America. After Wolverine dies, It's a couple times. Sometimes he dies. Sometimes he just becomes too old and doesn't want to do it anymore.
Fair.
But he passes the mantle to her. And she gets her own Wolverine suit, and she takes the mantle and all of that.
And you think she could be the new Wolverine?
She could, because rumor has it that by the end of Deadpool, we'll have seen what our MCU Wolverine is. Our MCU Wolverine is supposed to be revealed by the end of Deadpool.
Right. Or at least very much alluded to.
It's not going to be Hugh Jackman, because Hugh Jackman has said that this is not his return to the role.
Right.
He said he has 2 things on his bucket list. 3 things. He wanted to wear the suit.
Check.
He wanted to do a Deadpool movie.
Check.
And he wanted to be Wolverine in an Avengers movie. And that's going to happen. I think he's definitely going to be in Secret Wars.
I mean, if you put enough cameos in this will be an Avengers movie.
So he's going to be in Secret Wars. So he's confirmed he's not coming back.
And
he's
I think we all knew, well, some people was holding on, but I feel like we knew he wasn't coming back full force, like full time.
Daphne King's character is comically accurate. Laura Kinney, she's Wolverine.
Yeah.
Fans wanted her back.
They did.
Since Logan.
And people were mad when she lied and said, no, I'm not going to be in it. And people were like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And she was like, gotcha.
Fans have wanted her back since Logan.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm telling you, them Logan people about to go get their tickets. I'm just saying.
She just got spoilers for Acolyte.
Oh.
In 3, 2, 1.
We'll put this in the notes.
She got killed on Acolyte pretty early on, and she was not upset about it at all. No. She was pretty okay with her character being ended on Acolyte. Okay. Probably because she's like, I have another job. So
I'm about to put on another Disney suit.
Yeah, and the fans have already said there's nobody in the world who could replace Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It doesn't matter who you guys
So any guy will
not be.
So it
doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I would like it. I would be down for it. With that. Sign me up.
And we've only had Hugh Jackman Wolverine, so the argument of gender swapping shouldn't be an issue because he's been Wolverine for like 20 years.
Listen,
so
y'all.
you've only had one Wolverine.
Now
for
you
like
already
20
know
years.
there's gonna be a pocket of people that are like,
you should be ready for
Wolverine
something
should
different.
already be a man. You're like, shut up.
They've given Wolverine a lot that character didn't even have in comics. So they really stretched the bounds of his lore.
And I appreciate that they kind of toned it back in X-Men 97.
Yeah, at this point, we should be okay with something completely
fresh,
different.
Something right.
So I'm okay
on
with
screen
that.
for sure.
I'm excited.
The trailer, I like that they changed the tone a little bit. I'm officially, and I almost didn't watch this until you sent that screenshot of X-23, and I was gonna skip it because I'm officially in my now watching more clips, trailers for movie season. Like we've said 12 billion times already, we will be watching this at in San Diego because we will be at Comic-Con. That crowd experience is gonna be very interesting.
Yeah. It's perfect.
We're gonna be with the rowdy bunch for sure, and I'm wondering if we're gonna be able to hear anything.
So I'm excited. I hope that she's the new MC Wolverine.
I would be.
She's already at Disney. Yeah. She looks the part.
She played the part. Right.
She's got the part, and she's young, and that's what they look for.
Take it home.
Young people who can commit to being in the franchise for the next 10 years.
Yeah. So hopefully,
and she does action. Her behind the scenes of her doing her lightsaber dueling training.
Oh, okay.
With the lightsaber duelist trainer that they have on set.
Right. The lightsaber guy.
Yeah. So she's good with action sequences.
I will take it, and hopefully she's in this like significant. Well, not hope she's in this a good bit versus it just being like, oh, she showed up for 5 minutes and then that was it.
Yeah. Hopefully they give her something to do in the movie. Right.
We will see. It's coming out in a week, y'all. Depending on when you listen to this.
All right. So that is the end of our trailer park visit. Let's dive into the Bunch Crunch.
Do too. R.I.P.
All right. So sad crunch. We're on a sad crunch streak lately. Unfortunately, we've lost another legend. Shannen Doherty has passed earlier this week. She was known for her roles on Little House on the Prairie.
Throwback.
Yes, so she's been acting for quite some time. Beverly Hills 90210, which she made an extremely large name for herself on that role. Yep. And then she moved on to Charmed, where she elevated to legendary status.
Right.
Charmed is still heavily in syndication today. It still ends up on the Netflix streaming charts today.
Yeah, people. I mean, it's very. It was good, and it was very. It's just something that you could just go back to and watch and be like, oh, this is still nostalgia.
It was the golden days of WB.
Yeah,
it was when WB had actually good programming on. It was Charmed.
It was the times.
It was Smallville. It was Buffy. It was Angel.
Oh, that was CW.
It was WB first.
Oh.
So they were pre-CW.
You were going to say, because CW wasn't CW at some point. It was something before that.
Yeah, so.
Crazy times.
I think it was WB, then it went to UPN.
Yeah,
then
all over
CW.
Crazy times. But that was good TV, though.
Charmed was a legendary series.
Yep.
I think they still show it like daily on FX.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to reboot Charmed.
Well,
they did all the they did.
They rebooted Charmed.
Oh, did it?
And they had like an all new cast of girls. It went to the CW, but CW just couldn't capture the magic. So
current CW is not old CW.
And Charmed went on for a very long time. It's hard to reboot a show that went on forever.
Yeah.
Like it went on forever. It went through like different cast members and whatnot. So yeah. So
sad news.
R.I.P. to Shannen Doherty. She unfortunately died due to her long struggle with cancer. Sending prayers and thoughts to all of her friends and family and her loved ones.
Rest in peace.
And our last scoop of crunch for this episode is for an addition to the Marvel Wonder Man series, which maybe we'll get news about this at Comic-Con.
Listen, let me tell you this. So we're not doing a Marvel panel because it takes 36 hours of lining up to get in. If Yaya come on that stage,
he's gonna.
I'm gonna be so upset.
He's gonna be.
I'm gonna be so upset. I'm gonna be so upset. Then I'm gonna get over it.
He's gonna be there.
Oh, God.
They're strategically doing a panel after the release of Deadpool and Wolverine.
So there's two Marvel panels. There's one the day Deadpool comes out with just Hugh Jackman, Sean Levy, Ryan Reynolds, and Kevin Feige. And then they're doing their whole Marvel Studios panel like they typically do on Saturdays, but we don't know the specifics.
I think whatever additional MCU people that they throw in the Deadpool and Wolverine are going to be in the new panel.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's interesting.
More and more, they're starting to tease X-Men details. You're going to see X-Men that you've never seen before. You're going to see X-Men that you have seen before. We're working on X-Men. Well, we're reading over scripts for X-Men.
Well, it's interesting. Kevin Feige, he must have did an interview recently somewhere, and somebody asked him in terms of like game changing or whatever, like rank, where's Deadpool? I think he said Endgame was like 10. A 10, Endgame was like a 9, and Deadpool is like an 8. And I was like, sir, that's a high number.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to say, oh, it's just like a 5, because Sean Levy would be like, Deadpool's not super connected to everything. I'm like, that can't.
Yeah.
Y'all lying to us.
Yeah, it is.
Just be straight.
They're liars. They're liars.
That's interesting that you think that.
I think that we might get X-Men cast reveal
at the newly announced Deadpool panel.
Yeah, absolutely.
If Yaya is at this Marvel Saturday panel, I'm gonna be a puddle.
So, but back to Wonder Man. So, Bryon Bowers is joining the cast of Marvel's Wonder Man, which is a straight to Disney Plus series.
Yes.
In the vein of WandaVision and Loki. This actor previously starred in Amazon Swarm, which was a critically acclaimed series that people really received really well.
Yeah.
And he was also on Showtime's The Chi, which is still ongoing and is also received very well.
Yeah.
He will also star alongside Natalie Portman in another straight-to-streaming movie, and Moses Ingram.
Yep. Moses Ingram was from Obi-Wan Kenobi. She was Reba.
Moses Ingram and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep.
They will also be in Apple TV's Lady in the Lake, which I think is already out.
It's coming out very, very soon because they've been advertising for it. He's been in some good stuff. We don't know what his role is though, and we kind of don't know a ton about Wonder Man,
other than the fact that
although we might in like a week. He's going to be
playing Yahya Abdul-Mateen's character is an actor,
right? We know that.
Also a superhero, and it's going to tie in balancing being a superhero and being like a public figure.
Yeah.
So maybe he's like his agent.
Maybe. Well, there's another.
Friend.
Yeah, there's a couple. Somebody else is in. Oh, Ed Harris is in this, who I think is his agent. Actually.
Oh yeah, Ed Harris is supposed to be his agent, which I think Ed Harris is the villain.
Interesting.
I think he's the surprise.
He could totally play villain. Yeah. Absolutely. So, Yaya, please don't show up on Saturday at the Marvel panel because I'm gonna be sad because I don't want to wait 36 hours for it. And congratulations to Byron for being in this show.
All right, so that is all of the movie news, Trailer Park, and Bunch of Crunch for this episode. We're going to take a brief break, and we're going to come back for our review of the movie of the week, Twisters.
This week we watched Twisters, or Twisters if you want to say it properly. It came out July 19th, 2024. It is directed by Lee Isaac Chung, who also directed Minari, which got a lot of award nominations when it came out. So he obviously knows how to direct a movie. The characters for this movie are, it's funny because this movie has a lot of like people I didn't realize were in it until I was like, I didn't know so-and-so was in this movie. So Daisy Edgar Jones plays Kate Carter. Glenn Powell plays Tyler Owens. Anthony Ramos plays Javi, who doesn't get a last name, but okay.
I think it's Riviera. It pops up on the screen very, very briefly.
Oh, does it? Okay, okay. Brandon Pereira plays Boone. Mara Turney plays Kathy Carter, who is Kate's mom. Sasha Lane plays Lily. Daryl McCormick plays Jed. Karen Shipka, who we just saw in Long Legs and Totally Killer, plays Addie. David Cornsweet, aka Superman, plays Scott. Katie O'Brien plays Danny. And James Paxton, who is Bill Paxton's son, plays Cody. He has I guess it was a brief cameo. He has some speaking lines in this. Runtime is 2 hours and 2 minutes. Budget is $155 to $200 million. I don't know why there's a range there, but so we'll just say $150 to $200 million range.
Just guess $200 million, especially based on the marketing.
And the CGI, I will say probably closer to $200 million. Box office, it has grossed $32.2 million opening day domestically. And if you're wondering how good or bad that is, it is the same as Doom Part 2.
Yes, so good.
Pretty darn good. It's slightly under what Oppenheimer did its opening day. So, yeah.
I think it's only like 800,000 below.
It ain't even a million away from being under Oppenheimer. So, it is on track to do 75 to 80 million domestically opening weekend. I think when this movie first started selling, they were saying like 40 million. So, somebody was way off. So, it is doing very good at the box office. Cinema score of an A-. So, people who saw it and spent the $32.2 million liked it. Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score is 77 and the audience score at a 92, which matches up perfectly with the A- cinema score.
Yeah, that matches up. When we got to the theater, first thing we noticed how packed it was. It's been a while since we've been in a packed movie theater.
Probably not since Godzilla X Kong. To be honest, when we say packed, people are in the first row.
And Bad Boys was extremely successful, that wasn't even as packed in our showing.
It wasn't, but it's also actually doing good too. I was just randomly checking numbers.
It was like seat to seat for Twisters.
Yeah, for sure. I was randomly checking numbers, and Bad Boys 2 and A Quiet Place still chugging along very nicely, and of course Inside Out too, because All right. Do you want to summarize the plot of Twisters?
Sure. So the plot of Twisters is Daisy Edgar Jones' character Kate is a storm chaser. Former storm chaser. Okay, so listen. Daisy Edgar Jones is Bill Paxton.
Okay.
Glenn Powell is Helen Hunt.
Yeah.
Bill Paxton is reluctantly come back to the hometown and been roped into storm chasing with Helen Hunt.
Okay.
And her crew.
Yeah, sure.
And they have to go up against tornadoes.
So is Anthony Ramos then?
Anthony Ramos is just a member of the crew.
Okay. But I was going to try to say, I was trying to think of who you could compare him to in the OG one.
In this movie, instead of chasing the storms, to use Doherty to develop a better system to measure tornadoes to improve the early warning system, because that used to actually be a problem back when that movie was being made in 1996.
Right.
They're trying to use Doherty not even use Doherty. They're trying to
Doherty makes a cameo.
Technology to dissipate tornadoes this time and to stop the tornadoes. That's the big difference between Twister and Twisters. Yeah.
So let's get into who we liked and who we might not have liked as much for actors and actors in this movie.
Just going down the cast list. So Daisy Edgar Jones, the cast in general was fine, but that was it. And unfortunately,
I'll wait.
The best thing about the first Twisters movie is the cast and the tornadoes. The tornadoes, because you want to see how amazing they can look. Tornadoes look, and all the crazy things they can do with tornadoes.
Yep.
And you like the cast because they all have different personalities, but you can tell that they're all friends. You can see why they all
had
get
history,
along.
Right? You could tell the history was there.
They were all smart. They were wacky, zany people, but they were all scientists to some degree.
Yep.
And
very knowledgeable people.
They were goofballs, but they had a very serious purpose. We're chasing their tornadoes for a scientific reason.
To help people.
That's what kept me invested in it.
Yeah.
In this movie, the cast is kind of dry. And a lot of them are the same person. Specifically, the storm chasing crew.
Glenn
Powell's crew.
Tyler. We'll go by Tyler.
Is mostly 4 of the same people. Separated into different bodies. They all
and different ethnicities.
They're all the same. Like they don't have any. There's nothing that separates one from the next. They all basically share the same brain cell. In this film, they did the thing with we're going to get an ensemble cast of people, and they got an ensemble cast of people, but none of these people seem like they fit together, and which is weird because they all are the same person. Like all of the Storm Chaser crew is the same person. Variations of the same over the top individual.
I ain't love this cast.
Yeah,
and
the cast was dry.
The acting wasn't acting. I think Kathy, who was Kate's mom, was my favorite.
She doesn't count because she's a veteran actress.
Listen, I don't.
She is 10 years on ER.
She's listed on the cast list. So, Mara Turney did the best in my opinion. I have not seen Daisy or Glenn in anything previously.
I have.
What?
I saw Daisy Edgar Jones in Fresh.
Oh,
with Sebastian Stan. She was really good in that.
Oh, I think you mentioned that before. Okay, so this is not her best performance, is what you're saying?
No. And I don't think she was a bad actor in this. I think the characters were flat.
Okay.
I think all of the characters were flat.
As somebody who has not seen her previously, I will admit that this did not encourage me to see anything else.
I've seen just about everybody in this movie in something else that they were much better in than this. Everybody, totally agree. This is probably the worst performance from everybody as actors, but they are good actors.
Fair.
And the movie is not bad, but the characters
are not great.
Just dry. Everybody's so dry.
Glenn Powell, have never seen in anything, and I was just kind of like, I'm not seeing what everybody call him the next Tom Cruise because I'm not here.
I can see. So starting from the cast list, Daisy Edgar Jones, she's a great actress. I liked her in Fresh. Her character in this, she's supposed to be Bill Paxton. Unfortunately, you can't come behind Bill Paxton and be dry. You can't be a dry version of Bill Paxton.
Pairing of Daisy and Glenn, no chemistry.
There's nothing dry about Bill Paxton. So the fact that it's more unbelievable that Bill Paxton's character in Twister was a meteorologist. That was more unbelievable. That you could get somebody as lively as Bill Paxton to just be like a meteorologist. Because Bill Paxton is like cool and...
They have cool meteorologists. There's that one meteorologist be doing all the TikTok dances and be... Bill Paxton came across...
There's nothing exciting about meteorology.
Suave, nerdy.
Yeah, meteorologists never give off.
He was the coolest meteorologist,
essence of cool or suave
nerd on the
That's
earth.
what made Bill Paxton's character in Twister so fun because it's like there's no way you can tame somebody this fun into an office to being a meteorologist.
It was.
And he had so much character. She was just kind of like dry. I didn't believe that she was a storm chaser. And that's I believe that.
None of them actually.
In the first Twister, I believe that Bill Paxton was a storm chaser.
Who turned fancy meteorologist.
Who was holding in his real desire to chase storms to be a meteorologist.
Right.
In this movie, I felt like Daisy Edgar Jones was a meteorologist.
Who was trying to be a storm chaser?
Who was trying to be a storm chaser, which is backwards.
So the initial... There's 2 sets of crews that we get here. And the very first crew, because we're not in spoilers yet, the very first crew, I wasn't buying it at all. Like, they just seemed like
they were they said they were high school kids.
They were, okay, so fair. But they didn't even seem, like, Anthony is interesting because I prefer Anthony Ramos' character, Javi, in the beginning of the movie more than I did with his character turn at the rest of the movie. I was like, y'all should have just left him how he was, because I like this character, this version of Javi more.
Yeah, and that was my issue. My issue was
like
that
he had some personality there.
Her crew in the beginning of the film,
yeah,
with Daisy Edgar Jones and Anthony Ramos and Kieran Shipka and even the boyfriend that you didn't like.
I did not like.
They all seemed like a closer match to the original crew.
Yes.
Because they all seemed like different people.
Correct.
Who all had different personalities.
I agree.
The four of them were all the get in the field and do the exciting stuff. And Anthony Ramos was the hang behind and do the tech stuff in the van.
And I did not like the boyfriend because like he didn't do anything bad. I just thought the acting was a little stiff. So I only didn't like it because of the acting, not because of who the character was.
They had a Ghostbuster-esque effect where it's like you guys are all different individuals who are coming together to do this
one thing,
weird, crazy thing. And I was excited for them. But then when we get to Glenn Powell's crew, who are supposed to be our actual Storm Chaser gang, they all are the same person.
They're annoying YouTubers.
Yeah, they're all just they're just annoying influencers.
Not scientists. They're only knowledgeable because Glenn Powell's character used to be a meteorologist or went to school for it or something. So he knows, and then he just shared his knowledge with everybody else. I think the older black guy, Dexter, it says he's a scientist, so he kind of knows, but everybody's just acting like a YouTuber.
Yeah, they all just seem like the same person. They just seem like a group of friends who all have the same personality.
Katie O'Brien's character,
she does, which is crazy because I love Katie O'Brien's stuff that I've seen her in, but she doesn't stand out at all.
Like you said,
unless the camera is pointing at her and she's saying something, you forget she's in it.
like you said, all these actors have had better things besides David Cornsweet. If I had not seen X before this, if I had not seen Pearl before this, I'd be like, I'm worried about Superman. Yeah.
Glenn Powell's character, he's a good actor, but his character was annoying. And
he had some good parts.
He had good parts. You know what?
She had some good parts.
And this is one of my non-spoiler notes about this film, is that the film reminds you of Sweet Home Alabama.
You said that.
Glenn Powell feels like he's supposed to be Matthew McConaughey.
He's trying his hardest.
Daisy Edgar Jones feels like she's supposed to be Reese Witherspoon, and she's just like Reese Witherspoon, she's the girl who comes from the big city,
comes back
and
home,
is harassed by the guy in her hometown who treats her like she didn't grow up there, when in reality she did. Literally. And their relationship dynamic is the same, but he's annoying in a way that's endearing to her, and then they like fall in love because deep down they're both
from the heart of Alabama, or in this case, Oklahoma.
Deep South Oklahomans.
Right.
That's what brings them together. But it wasn't convincing here.
No.
He's performing like Matthew McConaughey in an SNL sketch.
Dang.
But he's not pulling off the Matthew McConaughey.
No.
And she's trying to be charming like Reese Witherspoon, but she's not. And her character's not funny. So
no, like I said, they had one-liners and parts, but as a whole, the chemistry.
Imagine Sweet Home Alabama, where Reese Witherspoon is coming back to her hometown, and they also have to fight a tornado. That's essentially what Twister. But
Sweet Home Alabama was good.
Yeah, and that was the issue. Was that I think that their characters were trying to channel that Sweet Home Alabama-esque romance feel, and it just wasn't coming across.
There's definitely a heavy focus on romance in this. Like the plot line of Tyler and Kate is very prominent. As in the original Twister, we were more focused on the actual, like, their relationship was a plot line, but it wasn't overbearing. Like, we were still focused on the tornadoes and Dorothy.
You know what?
In my opinion,
I feel like the relationship, the romance between Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton was probably like the second biggest part of the film, but they had chemistry.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
They had chemistry.
The whole cast had chemistry in the first one.
It made sense when Bill Paxton's fiance left and was like, you know what?
Because you could tell.
You could tell that the two of them belonged together. Even his fiance was like, the two of y'all belong together. And even the fiance was like, not only do y'all belong together, but I should probably leave without you because you should stay here. Like, this is clearly where you need to be.
And they tried to, I guess the movie tried to paint her as the villain because, she was breaking up the crew. No.
She didn't do anything wrong.
She was good. And I liked her, even though she was only in half the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, she's one of the best parts of the movie.
So Glenn Powell's character wasn't my favorite.
Nope.
And I just didn't get his purpose. I guess his character's purpose was just YouTube fame. That was
it.
Also,
I thought we were going to learn more about how he went from going to meteorology school or whatever.
No, he just likes storms.
To being an influencer. Like, did something happen? Like, why did you flip the script? Nope. He just liked the attention from YouTube.
That's it. Anthony Ramos plays Javi, who's a former friend of Kate's. They have history. There's the backstory there. Mm-hmm. And he's also the one funding their side of the storm chasing.
Right.
Yeah.
He was... I'll wait till we get the spoilers on Javi. I like Anthony, so it ain't got nothing to do with Anthony.
Anthony Ramos as an actor as well, but his character was kind of unnecessary here, especially because
the plot line they gave this character, you didn't need it.
Yeah,
didn't need it at all.
I wish his character. So there's two crews here. There's Daisy Edgar Jones's crew, and there's Glenn Powell's crew.
Right,
and
essentially.
There's not really any tension there. There's just two individual storm chasing crews,
right,
and that are centered around two individual main characters. And I feel
with two different purposes, to be quite honest.
With two different purposes, and I feel like one crew was unnecessary. And it's not...
The story they built around that crew was unnecessary.
Yeah, one crew was completely unnecessary, and that would unfortunately be the crew that Anthony Ramos was a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked him as an actor. His character just didn't fit, and it seemed like towards the end of the movie his character kind of just became a tag along. So
yeah. Anywho,
Brandon Perea is a member of Glenn Powell's crew, alongside Tunde Adebimpe. I believe that's how it's pronounced.
Hopefully.
Caddy O'Brien. Sasha Lane. I like Sasha Lane. She's originally from Hellboy, and she was in season 1 of Loki, which I just remember before recording.
I did not like her in this.
I didn't like her character in it. But anyway, all 4 of those characters, they were just his crew. They all shared the same exact personality.
Yep.
None of them really did anything different. They had different jobs. Brent Perea's guy was the cameraman.
Right.
Sasha Lane's character was the drone flyer.
Tunde was the scientist on the crew that was spitting out tornado facts.
Caddy O'Brien plays the mechanic. Now, we don't see Dexter, who's the scientist, or Danny, the mechanic, do anything other than...
He opened up a notebook.
He opened up a notebook.
And she asked about a trailer hitch.
We don't see them do anything.
I think.
They have some lines, but they don't do anything.
Yeah.
And the Sasha Lane's character and Brandon Perea's character are completely interchangeable. I don't know why you need a drone person and a video person. I feel like the video person could also fly the drone, especially since the drone girl was wearing like a VR headset.
They were trying to match the same number of people in the original.
They were trying to match the same number of people in the crew as the original, but they didn't make any of the crew members original people or different people. They were all the same person. I
don't remember the original crew members' names, but I can tell you what each one was.
You know who they
doing.
all were? They were all Mr. Beast.
Oh.
It was like Glenn Powell and 4 Mr. Beasts in a van driving around chasing tornadoes.
With no purpose, for real.
For the purpose of recording it and generating money from the content that they make and their followers. They mention the fact that they're content creators, and they mention their follower count several times in the film.
They do.
So they're the YouTube influencer storm chasers that are supposed to be.
You know what? They made this movie too modern. How about that? The adding the YouTube influencer element, I think, is what maybe killed it for me.
And that was another thing. They added the YouTube influencer element, but also they added the element of now anybody with a smartphone and an Astro van as a storm chaser. Because instead of just the storm chasing crews that were chasing the storms, they're also competing with a bunch of just random people who want to become famous from recording tornadoes and putting it on the internet. So I don't know why they had to make the storm crew influencers as well. Everybody in Glenn Powell's crew, they don't do anything significant or stand out in the script other than just be like his soundboard. And the last person I'll mention is David Cornsweet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was he was a jerk.
Anthony Ramos's assistant. He is
Carrie Ellsworth.
There's 2 Carrie Elwes in this. There is Glenn Powell as Carrie Elwes.
He's a version, yep.
And David Cornsweet is a watered down version of Carrie Elwes.
Yeah, with not as much whatever.
Once again,
jazz.
David Cornsweet, I think he's a good actor. He was good in Pearl.
I liked him in Pearl.
He built his following from the Hollywood show, which I believe was on Hulu.
Mm-hmm. He's now Superman.
So excited about that. I'm gonna get David Cornsweet a favor, and I'm gonna forget this performance because there was nothing here.
Listen,
nothing here.
Let me tell you something. In a year, we will not be talking about this movie.
We won't. Here's the thing. We
will be talking about Twister forever.
I didn't know David Cornsweet was in this movie until 2 days before the movie came out because somebody else had mentioned that David Cornsweet was in this movie. And I was like, I texted you. I was like, hey, I didn't know Superman was going to be in Twister.
Well, and then they made it a whole story of because he found out he got the Superman role during the filming of this. And I was like, good, because if Twister came out first and then the audition, they might have been like, I don't know, guy.
The studio made a conscious decision.
To do what?
To preserve his character.
Why?
Because they were probably thinking, this is Superman. He found out while they were filming. So they were probably like, we got Superman in our movie. So if we kill him now, we can't use him to come back in a sequel and market the fact that Superman is going to be in Twisters 3.
And guess what? I don't want a sequel.
Oh, they're getting a sequel.
No.
They're absolutely. Are you kidding me?
You're right.
This movie beat Dune 2. It's getting a sequel.
Okay, y'all. I guess that's you right. That's the lesson Hollywood is gonna take from this.
That's all I mentioned for actors I liked and didn't like.
All right. Do we have any non-spoiler notes we want to highlight before we get into spoilers?
I have a couple.
Okay, go ahead.
First non-spoiler note: you got to let the science go.
Yeah. The
premise of the film is that they're going to use science, and they say this in the trailer. They're going to use some type of science without spoiling to try to stop tornadoes.
I picked that up in the second trailer.
So they hit you with the jargon pretty early on.
Yeah,
you gotta let it go.
Don't worry about it.
don't carry that with you the whole film. Don't even remember the things they're saying to you.
Now I will be honest and say that you know what? Nope, I'll wait for spoilers for that. Go ahead.
The other non-spoiler note, which I kind of already said, which is that the casting matters. This movie is missing Bill Paxton. It's missing Helen Hunt.
It is.
It's missing Philip Seymour Hoffman.
It's missing everybody.
Carrie Elwes. And I'm not saying that the movie is not good because it doesn't have those same actors. I'm not one of those people. Completely cast new people. I don't care. I'm not married to a cast. You got to cast actors who act.
Now,
the thing about those 90s movies is that acting was different in the 90s. Everybody was a lot more animated.
Yeah, okay.
And if you watch the original Twisters movie, everybody is an animated, exaggerated version of a regular person. Like Helen, nobody with common sense would
take Bill Paxton back.
Would take Bill Paxton back, but nobody with common sense would run at a tornado like Helen Hunt was. Or
you're right.
No two people who are in love with common sense would take a leather belt strap and tie themselves to a pipe just so they can survive being sucked into a tornado.
And the fiance would have saw very early on that she wouldn't go down there with her husband.
She wouldn't have made it down there with.
She would have been like, "You let me know when you get back."
In her white suit twice.
I got things to do.
And she wouldn't have went on a storm chase with him. She would have waited back at the hotel. So everybody in the 90s was an exaggerated version of the characters.
Right.
They just played it too straight in this movie. Everybody was too straight. Daisy Edgar Jones' character was too serious and too traumatized.
It wasn't given any type of there was
Glenn Powell's
no
character.
emotion. Like there was emotional scenes, I guess. Like she shared some tears, but I was just like, okay, like I'm sorry.
The characters.
Where's the tornadoes at?
The characters weren't charactering. They were acting, but they were acting like regular people, and that's not interesting.
My note says no one's acting is believable.
Yeah,
just was like I'm not convinced.
It was weird. Everybody's acting was just kind of like flat, and none of them had chemistry with each other. So when they're trying to fake that they're like this tight knit family who does all this daring, dangerous stuff together, it just wasn't believable at all. And
That was probably my biggest qualm was the chemistry between Glenn and Daisy and Anthony and the crews and everybody. I think the most maybe animated person might have been the reporter, Ben, because Ben was legit like I'm scared.
I like Ben. Yeah,
like he was legit playing his role of like scared journalist, and he did that very well compared to everybody else. I will say that I like the parallels between the first movie and the original movie. They kind of threw some of those in there. So those were nice little touches. And I'll get to what those were, I guess, in spoilers.
I even like the fact that they swapped. They did the the meteorologist and storm chaser swapped. I like the fact that they made her the meteorologist.
Okay.
And they made him the wild, crazy storm chaser. I think on paper their characters make sense.
Okay.
I just think the way they portrayed was kind of flat. I was excited when I saw the trailer for this, when I found out that, they're gonna role reverse, gender swap the main characters and tell the story kind of backwards. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Right. They tried to do something different.
Last non-spoiler note is CGI was cool, but I don't think we got enough of the tornadoes. We didn't get long enough shots of the tornadoes. Like in the 90s version of Twister, they were like long shots of the tornadoes and
when they were chasing. Yeah, they were chasing, I feel like we focused more on the people in the vans versus the tornadoes.
Yeah, in this movie, instead of following the tornado on camera, we're mostly just following the people. Like there's way too much of the storm chase happening with us in the van.
Because Glenn Powell's crew are influencers.
Yeah.
So they're showing them YouTubing and they're like, I don't want to watch the YouTube. I want to watch the tornado.
So 9 times out of 10, whenever we're with Glenn Powell and his crew doing the tornado chases, we're watching it from the POV of somebody holding a camera phone, and we're watching them record themselves.
Yes.
Storm chase, which it's not exciting.
It's called Twisters, not YouTubers.
Even the good YouTube videos of people who are storm chasers on YouTube, they post more of the storm than they do their own face in the camera, because that's what
you want to see.
That's what you want to see. You want to see the storm. You don't want to see Brandon Perea screaming into the camera.
It's twins.
Yeah.
By the time we got to the movie, I was like, do it's twins so we can move on, please.
It'd be interesting to see what their YouTube channel footage is, because it's probably just mostly
him screaming or
Glenn Powell's teeth in the camera.
Being all close.
That's most of their footage is them recording their
You're
faces.
Right. We did see more of people than we did of Twisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Twisters looked good, but I wish we got to see more of them.
On that note of CGI, I thought it was overdone on the tornadoes. Now, I realized that Twister came out how many years ago? 1996, you said? So it's been like 30 years? Mm-hmm. I realized that CGI back then wasn't great. So if you go back and watch that movie now, the tornadoes look a little janky. But that's what they had at the time. I was thinking that these tornadoes would look more realistic, and they looked way too fake.
Well, they went the Geostorm route, which they made CGI fake tornadoes instead of just using natural looking tornadoes.
Like if Doom can make a sandstorm look like a sandstorm, then I feel like y'all could make a tornado look like a There's enough.
They were just too big. I knew that tornadoes were going to be CGI because you can never make a tornado happen for film. And if you can, you shouldn't. But
don't do that. Don't do that, Storm. Don't do it.
But it looks like they adjusted the scale, and instead of like scaling it accurately to where it's like it gets longer and wider, they just scaled it wide. So all the tornadoes just look really fat. Really fat.
And then the two skinny ones.
It's like, a tornado wouldn't be able to take up this. It would be sucking the oxygen out of the atmosphere if the vortex
Everybody
was this
would
wide.
Be dead for 20 miles out. And then the two small ones that we saw, this is the scene where they say twins. Mm-hmm. They look super fake. Like they driving up off in the tornadoes in the distance, and they driving up to try to get to it. And I'm like, these look extremely fake.
It was weird, but they somehow the tornadoes seemed a lot less epic in the more modern film than they did in the original.
It's funny because I sent you a screenshot of I think IGN's review and they said something like somehow the tornadoes don't look as good as the first one, and I was like, that's bull crap. That's not true.
It
and
seemed
sure
less
enough,
scary when the characters were in danger. Like in the first,
you're right.
In the first Twisters, the first tornado we get with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. Mm-hmm. When they are chasing the tornado in the red pickup truck.
Yes.
And they're using Doherty for the first time. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't work. They end up in a trench and they have to clamber out of the car and hurry up and get on. That had tension.
When it picked up the truck and then dropped the truck
and they were under that little tiny wooden bridge.
Yeah.
That had tension. There were scenes that were set up the same way in this film.
But you knew they were going to make it out of it. You just knew.
The tornadoes felt less menacing.
Listen,
weird.
The opening scene of Twister is like significant.
The tornadoes felt bigger, And I think because they looked so generic, because they made them so unnatural looking,
yes,
they seemed less dangerous. So when everybody is hunkering down and trying to protect themselves from the tornado, it's like, why are you scared of that CGI?
Right. There's actually one scene where they're trying to hide from a tornado in the swimming pool, and we don't even really see it. It's just kind of like, are y'all gonna show the tornado? Yeah, it's just wind and wetness.
There's a tornado night scene that you don't see the tornado, and that's fine. It could have been spooky. That was an area of opportunity to make it spooky. Like, it's so freaky seeing a tornado out in the countryside where there's no light, and all you can do is hear it. And that's another note.
It wasn't.
They were in the first Twisters. They put a lot of effort into sound design. And they incorporated a lot of animal sounds and natural sounds into the sound of the tornado to make the tornado sound scary.
Like you were outside.
The tornado was supposed to sound like a villain.
Right.
It was supposed to sound like it was on a murderous rampage. The tornado is supposed to sound like it's on a murderous rampage, more like it's just a natural occurrence. And when you watch the first twist, you can hear like the lions roars and the sounds of trains.
They did that for Armageddon too with the comets. They wanted the comets to be.
You want the natural disaster to be
the
scarier.
villain, right? Exactly. So you make it have sounds that sound scary,
right? And they do that with a lot of like sci-fi movies. They incorporate animal sounds to make the natural thing that isn't scary because it's natural seem like a villain.
All right, seem like a tangible. Well, it is tangible.
The sound design in this, I mean, the tornadoes just sounded like wind.
Yeah.
It would have been creepier if like you could hear the faint roar of a lion in the darkness as this wind is trying to suck up these people from the ground.
I fortunately have never been in a tornado, but people would describe it sounds like a train is coming.
Yeah.
Didn't happen in this movie. Yeah, I don't think.
The tornadoes didn't sound like anything. It just sounded like wind. And that's what tornadoes sound like in reality, but
That's what they sound like.
I've never seen a tornado. My only frame of reference of tornado is the 1996 film Twisters. So,
now, you've seen enough documentaries. Yes. But I guess those don't really capture the sound as much.
No, they don't really focus on the sound.
But this movie also...
The tornadoes, they didn't do what was necessary to make the tornadoes seem menacing. I wanted the tornadoes to seem menacing. When the characters are running away from the tornadoes, I'm like, there's no threat. They're just running away from that CGI.
Listen, the characters run into tornadoes and you just kind of like, okay. Which, I mean, tornadoes can get wide, but these wide tornadoes, you know what they also were? Clean. These were some clean tornadoes.
Very clean.
They were not,
not a lot of debris, not a lot of dust. Now, we didn't get a flying cow.
Oakland, now they said they weren't going to add that, which is whatever. We didn't even get like a house.
We got a chicken.
Okay, whatever.
Where a tornado sucked up a chicken coop. We got some chicken humor.
Yeah, we got a chicken.
But no cows.
And the chicken was alive. So.
There wasn't a lot of debris. You're right.
No, clean, fat, smooth tornadoes.
But plenty of casualties. I'll say that. They definitely, more people died in this one than the first Twister.
They did a better job of showing. They did a better job, I guess, of showing the destruction.
Yes.
So, sure. And then my other note that I have that's not a spoiler, too many songs. There were too many mic drops in this movie.
Yeah, like actual song. Like the first Twister had a lot of like background music,
which was cool because it's just it comes in, it's some musical number, just an instrumental, and then it goes out. Mm-hmm. We had actual songs in this with words. I mean, okay, a song can be a song without words. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. They had lyrics, and I was kind of like, I don't care. And the lyric, I guess the song was supposed to be for the moment in the movie. I'm like, I don't care about any of this. Quit playing all these songs. It's too much. Scrap it. So yes, I didn't like the number of songs in this.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to mention before spoilers?
No.
Okay. So what we liked and what we didn't like. I'll let you start.
The spoilers or non-spoilers? We still in
This is spoilers. We are in spoiler territory.
You didn't do the official countdown.
Oh, go ahead.
We're in spoilers in 3, 2, and 1. All right. Now we can talk to our heart's content.
No, you go first.
So the first crew that she had was her friends and there's a bunch of teenagers. I actually would have I could guess from the onset that they was all gonna die, except obviously Daisy and Anthony. So but the bad part about it is, let me just say it this way. The movie I thought we were gonna get was her crew and somehow Glen Powell was going to be factored into that. We're trying to stop collapsed tornadoes. And I would have much preferred that movie than the movie what we actually got was Kate was traumatized because all her friends died in the beginning outside of Anthony. And now she's coming back to help Anthony's character, Javi, take pictures of tornadoes. But it's never explained how those pictures are supposed to help stop tornadoes.
Yeah.
And we don't get back to stopping tornadoes to help people until the end of the movie.
They have a lot of different goals. So the main character, Daisy Edgar Jones' Kate character, her initial goal is to find a way to create a polymer to send up into tornadoes.
To collapse them.
So
basically get rid of
Dorothy has already been invented.
We see Dorothy. Yep.
So Dorothy, I think, is just something that exists in the universe. That's the homage to the original film. Is that Dorothy is a thing that multiple people use. But he didn't actually say exactly what he was going to do with the science he uses for measuring
never
them.
Get back to that.
They just wanted to get a 3D model of a perfect 3D model of a tornado, which had never been captured. And I'm not sure how I'm not sure how he convinced her that was going to help her cause.
They didn't convince the audience.
But that was just something he was trying to do.
Right.
It wasn't about stopping a tornado, I guess. And Glen Powell's motivation is just internet fame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and actually in the beginning, I feel like her original crew, they had a common goal. Let's use Dorothy to measure the inside of a tornado, and let's use the polymer to collapse it.
Yeah,
and they were all working together.
And that should have been the focus of the whole film.
Exactly.
But instead, we got three different.
Goals. Like you said, Tyler was the influencer. Daisy was helping Javi, and Javi's goal was to take 3D images of a tornado. But nobody ever explains how those 3D images are going to help anything.
I guess he just wanted to be the only person in the world to get 3D images.
But it didn't seem like he said he wanted to help people.
Because it wasn't about
Javi. How
it wasn't about creating an early warning system.
No, that's already done.
It wasn't about stopping them because that was Kate's goal,
right? And she had retired from being a storm chaser at that point because she moved off to New York after all her friends got sucked up by the tornado.
Yeah, they are out there for Kate.
Exactly,
because this is Kate's project.
Because she wants a grant.
Yeah. So they're out there just helping her. And she uses a polymer solution with some weird science mojo that's in some tubs.
Yeah.
That they're going to send up into the tornado, kind of just like Dorothy, with Dorothy, in addition to Dorothy. And they're going to measure the tornado, and they're going to see if the polymer solution shrinks it.
Yes.
Causes it to shrink. Because the goal is to make the tornado too heavy.
Something.
Yeah. Add weight to the tornado could cause it to collapse. That was the whole point of the science.
I believe it.
And they end up flopping.
They do.
They flop pretty bad.
They do, and they end up having to. So Javi is far back from the tornado at the van taking measurements. The rest of the crew is in the van, in the other pickup truck, trying to drop off the tubs. And Dorothy, they miscalculate the tornado. They have to run into an overpass, which you're not supposed to do. I'm glad they threw that little safety tip in there. Everybody gets sucked up but Kate, essentially. And then she is super depressed because obviously all her friends are gone, leaves home and moves to New York to become, I guess, a meteorologist of some sort.
Yeah, so one of my other notes, this was a missed opportunity. So I thought what was going to happen was that her solution ended up causing the tornado to get bigger.
So which would have been very interesting.
Twice in this movie, the first tornado in the beginning and the last tornado at the end, spontaneously get larger. Without explanation. So the movie opens up with the tornado they're chasing just increases.
They think it's an F1.
It turns into an F5.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Yes.
And they point out the fact that the tornado grew exponentially with no cause.
Because Javi's able to see it grow because Dorothy is taking measurements.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's getting faster. So it's getting bigger and it's moving faster.
Right.
And I thought they were going to say that her solution made the tornado worse.
Which would have been very interesting.
They never explained why it happened.
Nope.
And it happened immediately after they put her polymer solution in the tornado. So I was like, oh my gosh, she made it worse.
Yeah.
And I thought that that's what was going to be the crux of the movie.
Yep.
She made the tornado worse.
Yeah.
Got her friends killed. Because all of her friends died except for her.
And Javi.
And the reason she gave up storm chasing is because she ended up inventing something that made tornadoes worse. And she was like, I'm never going to do it again because I messed up and killed people.
Right.
And that never happened. Like, she had the explanation for the tornadoes just randomly getting bigger. Never explained.
Mother Nature decided to kick it up a notch.
They also touch on Javi's reasoning to convince her to come back was that there's a tornado outbreak and tornadoes are popping up all over the place and it's getting out of control.
Yeah, Tornado Alley is exceptionally active in this movie.
So I was like, okay, so now they're going to, that's another mission. A mission is to solve the tornado outbreak problem.
Right.
How do we stop that? That was never explained.
It's just an unusual, they don't say global warming and they don't even actually allude to global warming. Yeah. They just say it's a super active tornado
Weather
season.
Be getting worse, y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's all they say.
Tornadoes just get bigger and they never explain it. And tornadoes have been popping up more frequently. And we know why in the real world because global warming. Yeah. But they make a point of pointing out that there's a tornado outbreak and they never say
multiple times because we get multiple news breaks throughout the movie.
They set it up to where we think that by the end of this film they're going to solve the tornado outbreak and they don't, which
or
you
at
can't,
least
but don't mention it if you're not gonna. I mean,
it's a movie, so you can kind of do whatever. So that could have been what the movie was.
Yeah,
I would have preferred that movie versus what we got.
I would prefer the movie where she made the tornadoes worse. And that's why it reminds me of Deep Blue Sea. When she made Saffron Burrows
made the shark smarter.
And she, in the end, she had to eat it.
Yeah.
Because it was technically her fault. And I thought that's the way the movie was going to end.
And Deep Blue Sea is a good freaking movie.
It's an amazing movie. I mean, it's not amazing. But it's a great cult classic film.
It is.
Deepest, bluest. Had just like a shark fin.
Hello. LL Cool J's top hit? No, it's not. But it's still good. Yeah. And that movie is good. And I wish the movie that you just described is the movie we got.
They should have just made the shark smarter.
Because what we end up getting is she goes back to help Javi because he convinced her that she needs help. Then we run into the rest of his boring crew. And he works for like some official organization called Don't Matter.
Storm Pro.
There we go.
I believe, yeah.
He works for them and they all got these fancy, vans and they got like outfits or whatever. Then we eventually run into Tyler and his influencer crew. Now, I thought Glenn Powell's character, the influencer crew, had like some sort of objective of helping people, like Javi's crew was trying to do. Well, we find out that Javi's crew ain't really trying to help people. We'll get to that. But they literally just trying to take videos of them doing stupid stuff with tornadoes.
So,
hated that.
The thing with Carrie Elwes's character in the first Twister is that
he had
his goal. He was a villain, but his goal was to do the same thing Bill Paxton and them were doing. He just wanted to be the first to do it. He wanted to
He wanted all the acclaim, right?
So, and that made his motivation interesting because all of them, and this goes back to the point of it should have had the film should have had a central focus, and it should have been about stopping tornadoes.
Yes,
everybody in the first film had the same goal, but they all went about it differently, and that's what made it interesting.
Yes.
They all had different goals, and when you don't care about some of their goals, the whole plot of some of the characters falls out the bottom. So Glenn Powell's character's goal is just to be famous social media influencer, which they already are. So they technically don't have a goal.
So they go to they chase tornadoes for the purpose of filming them doing stupid stuff with tornadoes. That is literally all they do. They shoot up fireworks. The first time we see them do something, they shoot up fireworks in a tornado. And they're like, see, guys, now you know you can do fireworks in a tornado. Don't try this at home. And it's like, that's really y'all mission?
And
that's it?
There's nothing wrong with being an influencer. Influencers make fun content that I watch on YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
But as characters in a film, influencers are boring.
Yes.
As influencers on YouTube, those are fun to watch.
It's very generic.
Yeah.
Like YouTube influencer character in the movie.
Their characters were characters that you would put in a film as like the cannon fodder characters. Like these are the characters you're waiting to see get sucked up by a tornado for doing something dumb.
Right. And
I was waiting I would have liked to see that. I was waiting
nobody died.
I was like, okay, they're going to set these characters up and we're going to see them get sucked up in a tornado like the crew from the last tornado from the last Twisters film did. But they didn't. So I was like, well, that's
literally, and I guess
it's kind of a waste to not kill them.
Right. I guess in the first Twister, technically none of the main cast died.
No, but
in this Twister, I was hoping that at least a few of them got a little sucked up.
One crew, I was hoping that out of the two crews in this film, I would have been okay with one crew, either crew biting it.
Neither one of them did.
And I thought that would have raised the stakes.
And you know why it's okay that it happened in the first one and not this? Well, why it's fine in the first one? Because that crew was much smaller.
And they died pretty early on.
Well, let me take that back. Carrie Elseworth's whole crew, well, him and his dude actually did get sucked up. So let me take that back. In this one, nobody on either side dies. Nobody. And I was waiting for it. David Cornsweet could have bit the dust. Anybody from Tyler's crew could have bit the dust. Everybody lived. A bunch of
extras get sucked up in the
right. Like you said, it's a lot of death, but it ain't none of the main characters.
Yeah.
Or the supporting cast, actually.
There's no stakes.
None.
Because none of those characters died or felt like they were in danger.
And Tyler and his camera guy and with the reporter and maybe one other one, they actually drive through tornadoes.
Multiple opportunities to take either of those characters, and that would have raised the stakes of the film.
They drive through tornadoes.
Nobody was ever in danger.
And nobody bites the dust.
And then and there, it set the tone that the tornadoes in this movie aren't dangerous.
Because you can't sit in the tornado and shoot off fireworks and live.
It kind of rubbed the tension off of the film.
Right.
Of why are they scared of these tornadoes? They can just drive into an anchor into the ground and shoot a firework in it.
Exactly.
The tornadoes don't seem like threats.
It's strong winds.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all, just strong winds. So we spend the middle chunk of the movie. This was my other issue with the movie. Not we get some tornadoes, we get some chases, but the bulk of it is we're not addressing anything about everybody's end goal. So we end up finding out that Javi actually works for a real estate tycoon or whatever, and he actually comes into town after tornadoes to buy people's land from them. So it's very scammy,
which adds another element of confusion to me, because
I wonder if we're gonna think the same thing.
Anthony Ramos's character, his goal is to use his research, because he after the incident where all their friends died, he went to the military, got his hands on some military tech
that he's now allowed to take home.
Well, he bought them, so
okay,
he said
fair enough.
He met up with his billionaire investor guy, who gave him the funding for the equipment, so now they can 3D image tornadoes. Now, why they are 3D imaging tornadoes?
We've already said we have no idea.
He said that nobody's ever imaged one.
Yeah,
and it's going to help them save people. I don't know how having a 3D image of a tornado is going to save people from being in the path of one. But
it's not explained. But sure, yeah.
It just doesn't. Why does this investor guy need to be here?
Thank you. That's exactly what I was going to say.
This investor guy doesn't
He
serve a
literally does. You do not need data to be you do not need tornado data to be a scrummy real estate guy to come into people's lowest point to buy up their land.
Yep.
You don't, because that was what the tycoon was doing. And through the movie, Javi's trying to keep Kate from finding out. So there's a couple instances of where they're all three in the same space. And I was like, he don't need no tornado data to be a scrummy real estate tycoon.
And the resolution was disappointing because, once again, I thought that they were...
What was the resolution?
I thought that they were... Well, the resolution was that he just quit.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure.
The resolution was that the only thing he was trying to keep secret from Kate is that he was working with the billionaire tycoon who was buying up the land that was destroyed by the tornadoes.
Immediately after he would
give cash offers to families who were displaced and buy their land because they didn't have a home. They were immediately just hit by a tornado and they need money.
Right.
Finding that out sucked because what I thought that they were going to do, and I should have written this.
Okay.
They should have taken Helen Hunt's script, but what I thought they were going to do, I thought what he was keeping secret was the fact that he was using her polymer to make tornadoes worse, to destroy towns, so that the investor could come in and buy up the land. And I was like...
You're thinking too good.
I was like, oh...
You're thinking too much.
I was like, oh, he's been using... Because he lived and he didn't go with them when they used the polymer on the first tornado.
Right, because he was hanging back watching the data come in.
Right, and I was like, they're setting him up to be the scummy guy who took the buyout. Yeah. And used the money, who took the money route. So I was like, oh, this is this is Hugh Grant in Dungeons and Dragons actually using the gemstone.
Right.
Actually using their disadvantage.
The former friend now being your villain.
Being the scummy guy. I thought Anthony Ramos was using her little mixture.
That would have been interesting.
And manipulating the tornadoes. He was like, that's why the tornadoes are getting worse. Because he's throwing barrels of her science crap in them.
Making super tornadoes.
And the super tornadoes are destroying the towns.
Making F-10s.
And the more towns he destroys, the more money he gets.
Right, because they buying up the land. You know what? You should have wrote this.
And that's not what they did.
like I said in the beginning, before you even said that would have been the movie that I would have wanted.
Because her solution wasn't making the tornadoes bigger. No. That wasn't a plot line.
Right.
And because they didn't.
The funny part is you thought that 5 minutes in.
I thought that 5 minutes in. That was like my second note. My first note was that storm chasers have such positive attitudes.
Okay. Her friends. Right.
You got to have that to ride into the face of death like that.
Exactly.
But my second note was they made the tornado bigger.
Yeah, and that's what you said.
So from note number 2 all the way to like
the end,
the fifth note from the bottom of my 20 notes. So the end of the movie, I'm thinking that it's going to be revealed. Anthony Ramos is going to reveal to her, you didn't fail, you made it worse.
Right.
And I've been
bankrolling it.
Right. And that's not what happened.
Nope. Instead, what we get is the building of the relationship between Tyler and Kate. So Tyler basically stalks Kate through most of the movie. Mm-hmm. Trying to learn more about her. It's clear he likes her.
No reason. She doesn't do anything extraordinary other than she's the main female. She's the main woman actress and he's the main man actress.
And she's got a knack for weather, right? So she's been able, a couple times in the movie, you say she got the shine.
She has the shine.
For tornadoes, and she's able to gauge, like, when the two tornadoes come up, they're like left or right, and she picks the right one or whatever. But the middle of the movie is just them building their relationship. And I'm just like, can we get back to the focus of why we are here, which is the tornadoes, please?
Well, we spend so much time in the middle building their relationship. We don't know why he likes her.
No, because
he doesn't.
He thinks she's cute.
I thought, oh, they're going to have history because they grew up in the same town or whatever. I was like, oh, they're gonna have history. He's gonna remember who she is because they went to high school together, or he's gonna know who she is because she's a meteorologist, or he just happens to know people from their small town. He didn't actually know her, so him stalking her through the movie was just also an unanswered question.
One of the people on his crew recognized her last name or looked her up in the news,
and we don't find that until towards the end of the film.
Right, and then he figures, and then that's when she finally says, because he keeps calling her a big city girl, and I'm like, girl, if you don't tell that man that you from down the road,
right? She
finally says it. Then this fool follows her back because she goes back home to visit her mom because she lives like a couple hours away from where the movie is set, and he shows up. And I'm kind of like, that's not normal.
Right.
And mom's just like, oh, cute guys at the door. Let him come in so he can have dinner. So we have this little sit down dinner and everybody's sharing stories. And I'm just like, this is not, we're the tornadoes. Can we have a storm right now, please, to break all this up? Because this is ridiculous. I did have a note that it felt kind of slow. And I think this is where this is at, in the middle.
Yeah, in the middle of the movie was just any part of the film that focused on the romance was what I completely fell out of interest of the film because they didn't have chemistry. None of their lines that were supposed to be funny I found particularly funny.
There was a couple ha-has.
I really wanted to just continue to see more tornadoes. So the middle of the movie does get kind of dry.
Yeah.
We don't really get a lot of tornadoes because they have to do character development.
We get the one at the rodeo that somehow nobody knows was coming.
I was excited about that one. So another note.
You mean the one we didn't see because it was dark?
The rodeo tornado. Mm-hmm. Another mystery. The tornado popped up out of nowhere. And it was basically a jump scare tornado. The tornado was a jump scare.
Yeah.
And Kate's character makes a point to say, were you tracking cells out here? So I thought the mystery was coming back up. I'm like, okay, we're getting back into the mystery of
Javi over there stirring up the pot.
Right. And the fact that the tornado popped up out of nowhere.
It did.
They weren't tracking them. No. So I was like, okay, this tornado feels planned. And when they survived the tornado.
Yeah.
We get a cameo from Bill Paxton's son, who is there with his girlfriend. They're skeptics. They don't believe a tornado's outside. They end up getting sucked up and dying as a reward for their disbelief. Why?
Yeah. Now, why would you have the son of the main character of your original movie die in a tornado?
He took the role.
You right.
So Kate and Tyler go hide in a swimming pool. They survive. And after the tornado goes away, Javi shows up.
Yep.
And Javi's like so distraught about.
Oh, you thought this was perfect timing.
I thought it was gonna be like Javi was gonna be like, "Oh, I didn't know that you were here." When
I cooked up my tornado.
His lines of dialogue are so specific that I almost feel like that was the plot of the film and they changed it, because when he arrives after the rodeo tornado, he's like, "Oh, Kate, I'm so glad you're safe. When I heard, I got worried." And he was like, "Wait, you were here?" And then he was like, "Wait, you were here with him?" So I was thinking that, oh, you sent this tornado here because
to get rid of Tyler.
It was also a neighboring community. I was like, you sent this tornado. I didn't think it was to get rid of Tyler, but I did think he set the tornado there just to destroy another town,
so they can go get their land.
But he just didn't know that his best friend was also there too.
Right.
So he almost got her sucked up and killed.
That would have been a good.
That would have been a good
and that's not what we got.
No, because the tornadoes should be the villains. The tornadoes aren't the villains.
Right.
And they decided to make the humans the villains. And that would have been a great villain story, was that a guy was using weird science to make tornadoes worse.
Mad scientist tornado maker would have been a good plot. So I guess Kate and Javi fall out. This is where we get Tyler and Kate coming together, and we get the whole scene of like he finds out who she is, and she tells him about the first time. Oh, she recalls of when her friends passed away or got sucked up by the tornado. He feels bad for her, and he's like, "Oh, I can help make your mixture better." They basically hook up in order to make a better model so she can use her science project again.
So he has a computer program that instead of her driving out to a tornado to test her theories every time, they can just use his computer program to punch the numbers. That's one of my notes.
Was that
is they use the computer program from The Thing. I don't know if you've ever seen The Thing.
It's been a very long time.
Stephen King's The Thing.
Oh nope, I have not.
About the guys out in the Arctic with the shape-shifting alien monster.
No, I know what you're talking about though.
Kurt Russell.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about, but I don't think I've ever
and
seen
Keith
it.
David, yes.
Okay.
So in The Thing, the guy it's basically like the same computer program on the Nostromo, where it's a program that's so weirdly specific for this one thing.
Just this one.
That you can
just does this one thing. That's it.
In The Thing, he had this weird computer program that could perfectly map out the outcome of an outbreak.
Oh.
So he punched in like one alien creature thing plus 7 crew members equals
this is what he does in the movie. You right.
How long will the disease spread from person to person?
Yeah.
And it calculates how long it'll take for them to die, and then it calculates like the total time between now and world domination.
Lord.
So
yeah,
they use the same computer program.
It is very specific to measuring tornado collapsing.
It's a tornado simulator program that has a specific field for entering in a specific quantity of polymer that will then calculate how dense you need to make the tornado to cause it to collapse. The
polymer he just found out existed today.
Now, as a person who works in IT, who is currently in the middle of a production and a user access training phase, I would like to know who they hired to make this program, why they need this program so specific, and why did he need this program when he only does
fireworks.
YouTube storm chase firework videos.
Right.
Like, you don't actually study meteorology. You don't use your degree. So what caused you to
have this around?
This isn't Adobe, so you can't download this out of the Google Play Store.
He had a subscription. He ain't never canceled it.
You paid somebody to build this software.
Right. And the software actually ain't that good because they got to go get Javi to be like, "Hey, Javi, we actually need your data to make my model better." So Javi comes back, apologizes, drops off the data, and then we think they go in their separate ways. But what eventually happens is another tornado comes, and this one's also big.
So this is the last tornado of the movie.
Exactly. And this is where we get the scene from the movie theater. So they go to town. Mm-hmm. They're trying to do the whole polymer thing, and they've got a whole bunch of polymer this time. And Javi, they're like, okay, well, we're going to try to go into town and help these people.
Instead of using the polymer.
Right. To help these people to get them to cover. I don't know why these particular people need their help more than people maybe in another town.
So what they were trying to do was these are the scenes that they used to get us to like the Glimp House crew because they're goofballs, but they're goofballs who care about their community. So
you're right.
It's hard to dislike goofballs who
have a heart.
Who have a heart.
Right.
So they can be as unserious as they like as long as they help usher people into the nearest middle school.
Exactly. Underground. So they get to the town. They're trying to help people out. Javi decides to abandon his mission with whatever he was doing. Leaves Superman on the side of the road. Goes out to help. So now we got the crew back together. We got Javi, we got Tyler, we got Kate, and Tyler's crew all trying to help people out, get to cover. The tornadoes come in, it's ripping, it's running. Tyler gets stuck under a tree or branch or a sign or something. And then they get into the movie theater and Kate's like, now's my chance. I gotta go stop this tornado. So she drives her butt way out to the tornado, past the oil refinery, hunkers down, and of course, when she's trying to push the button to release the polymer, it don't work. So we have this fake moment of tension, which I'm like, of course it's going to open. She opens it up. The tornado the tornado eventually collapses right before it sucks up one of Tyler's crew.
Tasha Lane.
Right before it's about to suck up Tasha Lane. The tornado disappears and her polymer was successful and all is well with the world, essentially, for that day.
Oh, what would you change if you could?
I would have used your plot.
Yeah.
I would have made the story about the tornadoes and about the tornadoes only. I don't need no love story. I don't need no friends that's now villains that turn back into friends. I don't care nothing about no or no real estate tycoon. I only care about what y'all doing about these tornadoes that's tearing people's homes up. That's it. That's all they should have made the movie about.
All right. Who would like this movie? Who would we recommend it to? I think if you are a fan of the actors, you will like this movie. I think that's what's caused a lot of people to see it. Fans of tornadoes and fans of the specific actors. The characters are kind of shallow, so you're not going to come back because you love the character portrayals. If anything, you'll come back because you are fans of tornadoes and disaster films, and that's not an official film genre, but that is a fan base. I am a member of the disaster film fan base. I am a Geostorm, a Moonfall, and Armageddon.
I was going to say, I would rather watch Moonfall again.
A Day After Tomorrow.
You know who could have been leads? I'm adding a new segment, alternative casting. Brie Larson and Alan Richardson could have been the leads in this. So Hank and Captain Marvel.
Sure.
They would have cost too much, but it could have worked. I'm just saying. Brie Larson know how to do emotion, and Alan know how to do hulked up, super big buff guy.
They could have took the cast from Kong Skull Island and stuck them.
Oh yeah, that would have been good.
That's a good ensemble cast of different people who are all different, who all have the same goal.
Literally, and it's enough of that cast where people could have been crew and member. You're right. They could have took the call. Yep.
Twister 96 is still one of my favorite films of all time.
Absolutely.
So it's not the tornadoes that was the problem.
That again. Right. I would watch that.
It wasn't
again.
the ridiculousness of the plot that was the issue. The movie just wasn't fun. I don't know. It was just weird.
There we go. It was just meh.
Favorite line or scene?
Favorite scene.
I don't have any favorite line. I don't think there was any particularly memorable dialogue in this.
Yeah. Okay, you go. I think I found one finally. Go ahead.
My favorite scene would probably be the fire tornado scene.
Okay.
There's a scene where the giant F5 tornado, I guess at this point, that they're chasing at the end of the film.
Yeah, towards
ends up landing on top of some type of power plant.
Yeah, it's
and it starts like an electrical fiery tornado storm. I like that.
Yeah.
The scene went on a little bit too long, and I don't think the characters are making smart decisions in that scene. But I came here to see tornadoes, and that was a cool looking one.
I like the scene.
Oh, and no water tornado. That was also a missed opportunity. No cyclone. How you do a Twister movie? A Twister movie should have one version of every type of tornado.
We got twins.
And we didn't get a cyclone.
We got twins for about 2 minutes, if that.
Boo.
My favorite scene, actually I thought I had it, but it's actually kind of weak. I liked her scenes with her mom. Her mom was cool.
Her mom was nice.
I liked her mom.
Yeah.
So yeah, those scenes.
I think that was supposed to invoke the Aunt Meg.
Yep, that was one of the parallels
from the first Twisters.
Yep, the supportive, loving older family member that in the beginning of the movie they make it seem like they were going to go to her house to eat afterwards. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a callback to the first one. So,
and that's something that they probably should just did. They should have the Aunt Meg scene where she's cooking them all
one of the best
breakfast was one of the best scenes in the movie.
Because when we go back to her, we're like, oh no. It's her.
That's also where we get to learn who the crew are.
Yeah.
And how they all came to know each other. And then they gave their backstories about crazy storm chases that they've been on. And and I think it was like Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton running naked out during the middle of a storm or something you got scenes.
And they were describing the different levels of a tornado to the fiance.
And they give you backstory and stuff. And you're right, she was the fiance.
She was Ben,
the audience character.
Yes.
And we're with the crew. Sitting with them, hearing these crazy stories and stuff, and they should have included that. Maybe that would have got us to be more invested in the crew or care.
Yeah, but they didn't. So, like you said, missed opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, so final words about the movie and our rating. I don't think the movie was bad. I do think the movie was fine. I don't think the characters were bad. I think the characters were just fine.
So your Nicole Kidmans would be.
I have to give it a 3.5 Nicole Kidman.
Okay.
I have to take away a whole Nicole Kidman because too many missed opportunities in writing.
Yeah.
Like Anthony Ramos should have been the villain. The investor should not have been there.
Not at all.
And the tornado should have been the focal point.
Yes.
Of the movie and not grief.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't come here for grief.
Grief and love. Don't forget the love.
Right. You know who had grief? Joe. Joe had grief because she watched her daddy get sucked up by a tornado. But Joe didn't make it the whole point of her movie.
The opening scene of this one did not compare to the opening scene of the first one. The opening scene
of the first Twister with little Joe and the mom and the dog and
the dad.
And I can't hold it anymore. That's tension. That's tension.
It's good.
I mean, I was sad when Kiernan Shipka died because she just can't seem to make it out of a movie alive, whether they're killing her on screen or off.
And I just knew they was all going to go, so I was already like, let's get to it.
Two movies in a row where Kiernan Shipka ate it.
Listen, I mean, she's
long legs in this.
She know what she signed up for.
She did. So.
My final words would be, I wish it was a different movie. I wish it was more about the tornadoes, and I wish the cast just had way more chemistry. So for that, I'm going to give it a solid 3.
Yeah.
I was almost leaning like a 2.8, but I ain't going to do that. I was just going to say a 3.
Yeah. Which, I mean, and that's like a
meh.
That's a meh.
That's a meh.
So that is our review of Twisters. What are we watching next week?
We are finally getting a Marvel movie, y'all. Finally. It's been so long. I feel like we've been in a Marvel drought. We will be watching Deadpool and Wolverine.
Hopefully y'all still with us. I know we dragged Twister.
Right.
Everybody seemed to like it.
I think we're going to have we finally going to have our expectations met, I think, with this next movie, y'all. We'll be good. Because we also didn't like Maxine as much as we thought we would. So, yes, Deadpool and Wolverine is next. So, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope we get to see some
cameos.
Some never before seen X-Men on screen for the first time. I hope we get to see plenty of before seen X-Men on screen.
Halle Berry.
Doctor Strange better be behind that portal. It better not be like Madison or some weird bag.
Now, if Madison showed up, you was not gonna be mad. Don't even.
I will be upset.
No, you won't.
I think it's funny, but I will be mad. I'll think it's funny in the moment, but as I'm leaving the theater, the rage will set in.
In the review, you'll be like 2 stars because they said they made it Madison.
They did enough of they saw what happened at WandaVision
when
you tease and don't follow through, and that was also a Doctor Strange tease.
Yeah, you're right. So I'm very excited. I'm also excited about going to Comic-Con in general. So we'll also be doing like a recap of our Comic-Con experience.
And Benedict Cumberbatch is the only one who said that he was beginning filming.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
They don't know how to shut up.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, Doctor Strange is absolutely returning. I'm actually going to start filming Secret Wars soon. He's the only one who said anything. He said that weeks ago. So if he's first filming, it better be because he was filming in the Deadpool scene.
Like, I'm going to stop your phone service if you don't shut up.
So I'm excited about Deadpool Wolverine. I'm excited about being in the theater with the other nerds.
It's gonna be a rowdy bunch.
I imagine it being like the opening of Scream 2 with Jada Pinkett Smith.
We all rowdy and can't calm down.
Rowdy can't calm down. Popcorn and
all over the place.
Flying all over the place.
Oh my God, it's gonna be so
excited.
Crazy. It's gonna be crazy. But tune in because we're gonna tell you all our thoughts, good or bad.
All right. You want to take us out?
Thanks for listening. If you like our show, please share it. You can leave us a review on our website or Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast app you are listening to. You can also leave us a voicemail on our website, vaguelynerdypodcast.com, as long as it's nice, because I will delete anything that ain't nice, just so you know. You can follow us on Twitter at vaguelynerdypod or on Instagram at vaguelynerdypodcast. We're also on Facebook under the same name. Yep. And if Gmail is your thing, email is your thing, you can reach us at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com.
Until next time.
Peace.
Bye. Don't run from your fears. You ride them.
No, it's don't chase your fears. You ride them. It's something. I got it wrong. I think my version was better anyway. So
bye.
Bye.